Are we live, guys? Are we live? I've got to check this on my phone now. Woohoo! I think we're live. You might hear all sorts going on in the background today. I do apologise. It's just suddenly become very, very busy outside my studio. But today is all about distressing denim, guys. So this is the first workshop I've done on a Friday. So if, like me, you are struggling for a social life at 5:30 on a Friday, then I'm so thrilled that you're joining me. That being said, I do have a glass of wine here with a little bit of thread on it. Just to celebrate launch week. Yes, oh, hello, hello. How you doing? How's your week been? Let me know who's here, who's with me. As always, I love knowing that I'm speaking to my mates and not preaching to some tumbleweed. Today, we're just going to jump into it. That's how I roll. I am going to talk you through a really surprisingly easy way to distress denim. Now, with sustainability in mind, you can get sandblasted denim. Not good, not good for the environment. Looks kind of pretty, but is there anything better than doing really beautiful hand techniques and having really solid sound control over the area you're working on? Now, obviously, these are just swatches. I would say I am working on denim that's about 10, 12 ounces here. Just for thickness, if you want to recap on fabric weights, head over to the Digital Pattern Library Fashion Studio. I did a week ago today. I did a quick video talking through some fabric weights. But I'm just working with it's about 10 ounce, I'd say, denim today. And I have seen, I don't know, has anybody here already tried to distress denim? Let me know in the comments. I have seen people use sandpaper and they've rubbed against it until it kind of fluffs up and all the lint and fibers go everywhere. Again, as I said, there's sandblasting techniques if you go into manufacturing and stuff. This one is actually really therapeutic. So all you're going to need is the area that you want to distress. Now, you can do this on an existing pair of denim jeans. You just need to be careful when we snip into it. You're going to need a set of tweezers. Are they called a set of tweezers? A pair of tweezers? And you're just going to need some scissors. Do not get angry at me. My scissors are horrendously blunt right now, which is a sin, and I will scold everybody if they have blunt scissors. But as my parents used to say, do as I say, not as I do. So we're just going to start off by kind of snipping into it. And I'm going to make 2 incisions here. Let me know if you can see. I am using a dark textile today to try and make sure that visuals are clearer. I know sometimes we struggle with the clinical bright white surroundings that my studio has. So all I've done there is I've snipped 2 little incisions. Now, if you wanted to shape the area that you're going to work with, you could snip a third. The bigger the area, the more incisions you do, the easier your life will be, okay? And I'll tell you why now. Now, on this sample, here's one I made earlier. I have already kind of trialed it out. So you can see here, this is your kind of classic distressed look that you'd get on a pair of jeans. And this is a rather nice looking clean rectangle. That's because my incisions here were the same kind of length. If you wanted it to look a bit more rustic, you can play around with a shorter snip here, long here, medium, short, etc., etc. But this is obviously just showing you the technique and the basics of what we're doing. This is, if you are familiar with the warp and weft weave of a textile, that is basically when a fabric is woven. Oh my god, this is when my long piano fingers come in useful. I can't play the piano, disclaimer, I just misled you all there. So when you have a textile woven, you have the warp and weft. Now the warp is top to bottom, the fabric, the fibre that goes from top to bottom, and the weft, as I remember, is left to right. Weft sounds like left, that's how I kind of remember after all these years. But what you also have here is a twill weave, which means that we have these diagonal lines running up it. So, touch upon that pretty quickly for you guys. So I've just made 2 little incisions here, and all I'm going to start to do, you can turn it over for this, is you're going to get your tweezers, and I'll try and raise this up to the camera. I just want it to focus. I understand this is a bit more fiddly than what we used to. Please let me know if you can see that. And I'm just going to start to grab those running fibres there. And can you see me starting to pull them out? It takes a little bit of time, and you're going to want to like have a bit of patience and get into it. Careful not to stab yourself the other side. This is easier to see. Can you hear that scratching? That's my dog scratching on his bed. I googled why he did it the other day, and it's apparently to mark their scent, which means one of the other farm dogs has been in his bed. As I say, it's pandemonium behind me. So if you just start to pull these up with your tweezers, and I would start to also do it at the bottom edge, at the other incision down here. And you can start to just hook your tweezer in and tease them out. Take your time with it, because you don't want to rip it. We want to get this here, which basically, if we were ripping all these fibres, they might rip over time if you're wearing them, that's fine. But we want them to all stay connected, okay? We want this kind of look. So if you just start to eke them out and pull them out like this, it can actually be quite relaxing, guys, if you did this in front of the TV. I know it doesn't look relaxing, and now that I've started, it's dawned on me how boring this workshop, how boring this workshop might look to you. But hey, it's a nugget of information as long as I'm giving you value. But yeah, get your favourite film on. Get a pair of jeans or get a denim project that you really want to kind of have a go with, and start to eke them out from the top to the bottom. So we're like this, okay? And then, I don't know if it's going to work, but if you've eked out enough, what you can start to do, voila, is you can start to pull the opposing weave fabric. So we've just done the weft, and now we've just done, I think that was the weft, and now we're pulling the warp, okay? So we're pulling the opposing fabric threads, and this makes it just pull out a lot quicker. So once you've started here, it just makes your job a little bit easier this side, and you can start to pull them out one by one. But this is why you need tweezers, because it's quite accurate work. And can you just see that slowly coming out? Obviously, guys, for me to do the whole thing, I don't actually want to bore you on your Friday night. I'm sure we all have plans to be getting on with. I mean, I don't know why I'm pretending to have plans to be getting on with, but I'm sure you all have a much more exciting life than I. And as you can see, I've just pulled that out there. Now, obviously, if you continued that across, you're going to end up, whoop, here's one I made earlier, with this beautiful effect here. And all I've done on this side is twisted it round. So let's zoom in on that little one there. Is twisted it round and done it on the opposite direction of the weave. And so it's really worthwhile playing around with the effect that you want. As I say, this is kind of classically what you might see. But fabric manipulation is a really, really exciting part of the design process, because if you did this on a bigger scale and you were draping on the stand, got a course for that just in case anyone's interested, and you were draping on the stand, then you could start to place this around your design on the bodice and figure out kind of where you wanted these fabric manipulation techniques. Now, when I speak about sustainability, you are going to have a lot of this kind of stuff left over. Don't throw it away, guys. Any kind of scraps, whether that is thread ends, whether that is little bits of fabric, I always store them in, I think at the moment I'm using one of those instant coffee tins with a plastic lid on. I always hold them back because they're useful to, number one, put broken pins and needles in so that you're nice to your bin men and you're not chucking them out in the bins loose. And number two, to store stuff like this, because it can always be used for padding, for wadding things out. And this is the Scrapbuster Zero Waste House. Now you can get the free pattern for this on the DPL resource library. It holds a tape measure! How bloody cool is that? But this is the perfect kind of scrap busting project where you would stuff it with these kind of things, okay? So yes, it takes a bit of time. Yes, it's not as quick as the very unsustainable manufacture processes of sandblasting, but you have a lot more control over the area that you want to distress. You have a lot more control as the designer, and it really is more sustainable and, well, in my books, it's more enjoyable. I do find it quite therapeutic. So, that was a very quick one today, guys. I hope you found that useful. We've gone back to our 10 minutes. Yes, get in there. I've done this on time. Still workshop. Fab. Thank you so much for joining me, Angie. Thank you so much, Ol. You're literally always my hype man, always here with me. If you try this, as always, please post it in the DPL Fashion Studio. I love seeing what you guys get up to, what kind of skills you explore. Obviously, it goes without saying, these would be perfect to tuck into your fashion file. But I will leave it there for you today, guys, and I will catch you Sunday. The next, I am treating you all. The next workshop is Flatfeld, so I'm going to have to try and set up some kind of funky thing at my sewing machine, but I'm sure we'll get there. So if you enjoyed this, if you're catching this on replay because you have a life and you've gone out for your Friday, just comment #replay. I'll catch you in the fashion studio, and I can't wait to see how you apply this to your projects. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much as always.